Folks, here we are once more, and as you can see, not everything is alright this time. In the last episode, we did so many things that our king and of course the clergy loved, but as you can see right here, much of our nation did not love it. We are maybe right before a civil war right here, and this could very well change the order of Greece as it stands right now. Welcome back here in 1854. We are of course looking at Greece. We are looking at the Ottomans, who are hopefully under Sultan Mahmud Osmanoglu here failing their transformative, because then we should have a real chance at actually destroying them, although for the moment of course they're still allied to the French. Right now they are declaring a war against Egypt, and you can see it is just for Crete, so I think we are safe, but we shall see how that goes with the transformative. For the moment we should be worried about this. Listen, I'm going to be honest with you, and I love the comments that sort of acknowledge this, that go into this direction. We have made Greece significantly worse. We quite literally pushed people back into serfdom. We quite literally did something, of course, that put entirely just the Bavarian aristocracy into control of the country. And all of that backed up by the Orthodox Church, despite, well, the Orthodox Church, of course, not being the religion and the church that our king is following, since he is Catholic. This is an interesting situation of a king, who I would argue doesn't really understand the country he rules, and the country having had enough. Now, will they rebel? I honestly can't tell you. I'm looking forward to it. I might switch to their side if they seem interesting enough. What I mean here is, for example, if their laws change sufficiently enough. But we shall see how all this goes. I'm very excited to go ahead here. Although, and I'm going to tell you this right now, I'm also worried about this. Should Britain actually open up a colony in Guinea, since we are in their turf, they might see us as a long-term enemy, and I don't know about you, but I don't think we can handle Britain. Let's take a look where we go today and hope that everything goes well. Now, the issue of the Ionian Islands and their production capacity here, we can't really tackle this, because as long as the revolution is here, I can't do anything about this, but man, there's a whole bunch of buildings that I want to stomp in, buildings that we just don't need. Maybe we could even keep the arts academies if I were to join some sort of customs union. Interesting. So they would like me in a customs union. Austria would like me in a customs union. France not too interested, and Britain also not too interested. Now the only side that really comes into question here is Russia. I'm not going to join them right now. We shall see whether we have to face some civil unrest and whether we can handle it on our own. Those are the questions of the day for sure. Oh boy, okay, I just unpaused and all of a sudden we are here. What is happening here? So we have enough angry factions now. Did you gain additional anger, I wonder? I think they always were this angry. Did anybody turn angrier here? Well, either way, we are now looking at an actual rebellion. We could try to seek... I don't think we're going to work with Russia on this right now. I think the king believes that together with the Orthodox Church he can stem the tide here, but I think we might actually see a rebellion. And man, what a rebellion it is. It is a rebellion for freedom. It is a rebellion for the Greek nation. And there they are. Yep, the entire countryside here is basically rising up, and I would assume that Attica would also like to rise up if it wasn't for the fact that it is our capital. This one is going to be pretty nasty. The Ionian Islands and it looks like the Peloponnese are going to rise up against us. And oh my god, I think it's actually happening. Both of these are going to secede for sure. They get 3 ships, they get 5 soldiers. We currently have, I believe, 10 plus 6 and then 5 ships, so we only keep 2. Man, this would be so dramatic, by the way. Ships, even just individual vessels back in the day right here, would have a massive impact on how the war would go. For example, back in the day right here, basically the countries of the time had agreed on respecting any sort of blockade that was deemed effective. So that is why barely any countries, if at all, were actually trying to trade with Germany here, because it would have been against the conventions of course, warfare. That could have been then seen as basically piracy, as trafficking, and so on and so forth, but, well, for us, that doesn't really matter, because, again, that's not a factor, but either way, our fleet will basically be completely ignored going forward. Yep, we're gonna have a rebellion on our hands right here. There it is. Okay, what I want to do is, I'm not sure whether I will switch over, and if we will switch over, we might still lose, but I want to see what kind of laws they have. They stuck with autocracy. What did they actually change here? They got tenant farming, of course that makes sense. They got free trade. I mean, come on, that is disgusting. I don't think we're gonna switch over to them. Did they only change 2 laws? That is so boring. Wow, that is terribly boring. No, I will not switch to their side. I will, quite frankly. Will I, though? King Otto von Wittelsbach. Man, that is a decision right here. We have such an interesting Greek liberal revolt, but it might mean that we would say goodbye to Russia. You know what? I'm gonna roll the die because I find both of these options quite interesting, and let me actually study here. Ooh, okay, it looks like Russia is gonna crush the rebellion here anyway. I don't think I need to roll the die here. I think they're gonna come to our aid. But man, that is an interesting prospect here. They're fighting for the Greek freedom. Now, obviously, I do need to go ahead. Karl Wilhelm von Heideck, a German, who is technically Greek, I guess, but, I mean, Karl Wilhelm von Heideck, really. We're gonna go ahead, and we're gonna send him to the front line. Now, I will tell you this right now. I know how the frontline system works, and I know many of its issues, which means that, looking at this, I fully realize that if I have 2 generals, and I just march in this direction, they only have 1 general, they can only defend here, we win immediately. We're not gonna do that just because it's not really adhering to the rule of cool. Let's hope that that gets addressed at some point. I think I've talked about this enough in the Dev Diary videos, eh? And it is quite interesting to examine, of course, that the armed forces and the petite bourgeoisie stayed loyal. The urbanites of Greece were not willing to side with the free people of Greece. Interesting. Interesting. This might mean that we might be persuaded to listen to either of these factions going forward, even if they were to happen to be Greek-dominated. And I gotta tell you, this is actually so fascinating. The armed forces now have General Karl Wilhelm von Heideck. They have a German leading them. That is incredible. We really have taken over the Greek state. Now, on this side right here, Russia would only really want to join us, and Austria as well, if we gave them an obligation. I think we are persuaded that we can defeat them ourselves. Yeah, I think we're gonna leave it at this. I gotta tell you, I'm kind of tempted to do that, but I do think that this is sort of like I don't think they're gonna succeed. I think this is one of the futile uprisings, very similar to, for example, the Polish uprising, the Hungarian uprising, and the Polish uprising here as well in 1848. This is, so to speak, our 1848, and it looks as though the old order were to prevail. But you know, this is actually really interesting to me. Once 1.3 actually introduces anti-clerical laws such as state atheism, we would be looking at a situation where if this rebellion were to win, we could actively go and repress the Orthodox Church. Quite interesting. I like that law. I think I'm gonna warm up to that for sure. Oh, and this is terrible news. Great Britain damaging relations. They view us as domineering. And let me just take a look at this. Oh, they haven't started colonizing this. Interesting. I thought they started colonizing it and saw us now as sort of a thorn in their side, but wow, it just looks as though Great Britain simply wants to take us over. Look at that, domineering. Oh, that is so bad. How do you feel about the Greek liberal revolt? Could I... Ooh, interesting. Protective attitude, because they are the liberal side of this conflict. Wow, Britain and France are not our friends. I think we know that much by now. And here we have the first battle, the very first battle of the war. You can see that I chose this front line instead of this one because it's just so much cooler to fight in, you know, Athens. Take a look at this. Our Karl Wilhelm von Heideck against General Adam Trifiaris. And he is winning because he has a much higher defense level. And of course, he is the armed forces. He understands his craft. And he is going to utilize it against the Greeks rising up for their freedom. If you thought the last episode, us rolling back everything, being incredibly reactionary, just wait, okay? We are just starting our work. And you know what? Let's turn it around. Let's see what we can do here. Maybe we can simply quite literally destroy them, even just with a second battle here. Oh my god. We are rolling over them. General Adam Trifiaris will be the loser. He will be ousted. He will be thrown out of the country, maybe to never see it again. And here we have the infamous canned food opener. Listen, the armed forces are protecting us here. I think I'm gonna spend 300 bucks. That's fine per week. God damn it. Damn can openers. I want you to take a good look at this. This is the free part of Greece. The people living here are free. They practice their religion. They live their lives. There are no serfs here. They stand together as one in the face of Bavarian oppression. And yet, it is all going to come tumbling down as we start marching their way, as we take over half of the Peloponnese. Just making halt here. What is this? I forgot the name of the city, and sadly it isn't shown. Just making halt before this major port town. This is a disaster for Greek from the roots, from the bottom towards the top nationalism. Wait, what? Wait, what? Wait, what happened to my previous heir? Maximilian von Wittelsbach, heir to the throne of Greece, has been born. Can heirs in this game die? is that actually a thing that can happen? Who the hell is Prince Maximilian? Wait, what? You know what? Let me check the save at the start of this episode. I want to know whether Otto, our heir, was already dead then. What happened here? Okay, you will notice now that we are in the past. The revolution hasn't broken out yet. You have to answer me this truthfully. Did Otto von Wittelsbach... There's no way, right? Did he actually side with the revolution? He's still here. You can see this on the 8th of March. Did he side with the revolution? There's no way. Did we kill him in the ensuing battle? We can definitely say he got exiled or something, but I think he sided with the nationalist Greek forces. Oh my god. Wow. I think because he was a part of that faction, he is gone. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think this is going to give King Otto some food for thought. It's gonna make him pause and consider what he is doing here. His own son, his flesh and blood, rose up against him. Sure, we now have Maximilian, who is exactly like us, but my god, what a cruel twist of fate. Maybe we have to revisit previous policies here. Wow. I'm not aware how exactly that works, but that is depressing. Oh, and there they go. Great Britain colonized Guinea. You can see that we're winning here. We're just finishing off the West Again Island campaign, and then this war's over. They're at minus 53. But the British now coming over here means that we won't gain anything here, because they have, of course, the quinine technology. They can go against malaria and so on. But it also will mean that, yep, I think this attitude is gonna last, and I think this attitude is gonna be a disaster for us. They already cancelled our trade agreement, which all of a sudden gives us this massive, massive bureaucracy cost. We have to see where to go from here. Maybe, honestly, weak as we are and depressed as we are, maybe we shall join the Russian market after all. Let's finish this war and then let's take a look at this. Oh, and sooner than expected, it is done. Let me tell you something. I think Otto's attitude has changed. He still fully believes that he is the leader of this country, that he must be the leader of this country, and that there cannot be an alternative. And yet I think that he might realize that not everything he does is necessarily sort of lining up with the ideal that, you know, he had when he came here to Greece. Well, all of these people really hate fun, huh? Every single one of these people really hates fun. We could be looking at all of these laws. I would like to maybe roll back serfdom. Currently nobody wants it. But I think that if we were to get the chance, maybe the king would, now that he has basically the blood of his own son on his hands, maybe he would see the light. Now, with that aside though, the war's over, we have won, and I can finally stomp in these buildings. What do we have here? A crop failure? Jesus, this is terrible. The Ionian Islands joining us was a disaster for them. I'm gonna stomp down on some of these buildings here. I'll see you in a second. Alright, so for the time being, I've decided that we are not going to join the Russian Customs Union. I think we can make this work. Our losses are okay. I have started to, tax tobacco right here. Obviously, we want to export this primarily. We don't really want this to be consumed at home. But that aside, I think we can work out the bureaucracy issue, obviously caused by the fact that Great Britain said they want to own us. But until Great Britain were to become a bit more aggressive, I'm going to ignore this. If they were to actually become aggressive, I will definitely, very gratefully, join the Russians. However, as it stands, I think that King Otto will attempt to maybe rethink just how direct and harsh he has been on the people of this country. Oh yeah, there you go. Fouta Jalon is now being taken over by the British. They're puppeting them. I'm so grateful to see this AI in the works. I have, of course, in this mod commanded Britain, France, and any other colonial power to actually say, hey, wait a minute, I would like to puppet and then annex the people here in these areas. Now, that is nice, and I love seeing it in the works, but, yeah, it's gonna limit us significantly. Shout out, by the way, to the person in the comments from Fouta Jalon. Nice. Oh, and this is a big one. What do we have right here? We have a very early one. I mean, they're gonna be independent in just a second. Does that invalidate it? If the Ottomans fail Tanzimit, then Moldavia goes independent immediately. But I love to see that Russia is on the side of Moldavia. They are here for Kars. I don't have an interest up there. I'm so depressed. I would like to be in this. This seems like the first Crimean War, but it primarily might be a bit of a waste because, well, yeah, as soon as they fail the Tanzimit, they will become unrecognized, and all of these folks go independent, which, by the way, means that we definitely need to become their friends. I'm gonna just sort of intensify this combination, this work here, right away, because this, of course, is very, very important to us. Yeah, and they just backed down. That is quite, expected, I would argue. Britain now has taken control of Western Africa right here. They're coming closer and closer to us. I don't think we're going to get any of these provinces. You can see that they are significantly faster because they would know what malaria is. We're just mysteriously dying and still living right here. But yeah, that means that Greek Guinea is going to be restricted to exactly what we have here. And that means long term that Britain will get a claim on us. And yeah, I mean, our relations are already quite strained. Oh, and these rivalry broken messages are amazing to me because it means that the Ottoman Empire has fallen into the status of merely an unrecognized major power. The big question that I now have is, will France eventually back off of them? Right now, it doesn't exactly seem this way, but I can really only hope. Let me see, my own rivalry. Oh, my own rivalry is also gone, actually. You cannot rival unrecognized powers? Oh, wow. I guess I don't actually need that influence. Now that I look at it, it doesn't actually matter all that much. But we still cannot attack because, of course, the defensive pact here still exists. More importantly, even, I think they might puppet Moldavia. They might pull that off, which would be a pretty boss move. I mean, that's very smart by them. I'm not sure whether the Russians will be able to push in here, but yeah, we need France out of the picture or things will be dire. Oh, and I love this. Just in time, the Roman Republic is rearing its ugly/beautiful head. Pope Giulio Lunardi here is in a position where he would like to be as autocratic as he possibly can. And the Roman citizens apparently don't agree. I wonder whether they can win this. This is going to be a tough one, in particular because I assume that people will side rather with the Papal States than with the Republic, right? Yeah, Parliamentary Republic. Wow, they really rolled correctly there. We shall see how that goes. I mean, we suppressed our revolution. Maybe the Pope can suppress his as well. And if you really want to understand where Greece currently is when it comes to its internal politics, you just need to look at this bar right here. 97.7% of everybody likes the idea of outlawed dissent. You know what? I'm interested in this. I'm gonna go through with this, I think. Our king lost his son in the revolution. Now, he still very much thinks that the aristocracy should take care of society. But landed voting basically just enables this, right? Maybe the local aristocracy can be persuaded by the peasant folk under their rule, and that then would create a more informed government in Greece proper. I will, with this movement right here, enact landed voting, I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? This is my concession. I make this concession to you in the name of my deceased son. And here we have something that was to be expected. The East India Company has the Sepoy Rebellion, and obviously, yep, there they go, they just won it, but that now makes them a puppet. And I am praying, okay? I am praying that the AI of Britain, which I told, hey, listen, if the British Raj exists and it hasn't cleaned up Burma, the Sikh Empire, Kalat, Sindh, and so on, then maybe you want to do this. I hope that they keep themselves busy here to leave me alone. Ultimately, of course, it has to be said, yes, Britain might be domineering towards me, but I assume that France would want to protect me. Oh, God, France, please, don't be wary. I'm your best friend. We are great friends, okay? Why does everybody hate me? What did I do except reinstitute serfdom? Come on. My hope here, ultimately, is that Britain will be busy, and if not, that I at least get some support by the other European powers. I need my independence. Oh, and he's at it again. Josef Ludwig von Armansberg for moderate is the craziest politician I've ever seen. How bad can it be? If he fails, Bavarocracy may yet plunge deeper into despair. We are really strong right now, don't get me wrong here, but I think we are slowly but surely being eroded, be it by the king's will, or be it because, well, you know, maybe some Greeks are going to get involved as well. The gamble, failure. This is his very first failure. Did what with what cow? Okay, what? A dramatic scheme by the landowners in our capital has just come to a disastrous end. The risks were high from the beginning, but Josef Ludwig von Armansberg decided it was worth pursuing nonetheless. The results have, of course, been calamitous for everyone involved. The landowners cannot be trusted with power. Make Josef Ludwig von Armansberg take the blame, or steady on, leave the landowners in charge. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I like some fresh wind, just from a gameplay perspective. But if anybody's to blame, because they pushed politics too far, if anybody's to blame that isn't us for the death of our son, I think it's him. I think you should go back home to Bavaria. Why don't you get out of here? And we examine who is now leading the landowners. Trifon Patrikios. Now, he is a traditionalist. He definitely follows the ideals that we already have. Legal guardianship and state religion. Ah, interesting. Trifon would probably push us towards admitting that Greek is an Orthodox nation. So this is a really interesting historical conflict as well. We are in a position where, historically speaking, after the initial actual rebellion that didn't oust Otto but made him grant a constitution to Greece, it was sort of, not promised, but it was guaranteed, it was said that he now had to have an heir that would be Orthodox. This was the demand, because obviously otherwise you are a foreign ruler. It's very much comparable, such an interesting case by the way, of August der Starke, the king of Poland and Kurfürst of Sachsen. He basically turned Catholic despite Saxony being Protestant, because the Polish were like, hey listen, if you want to be our king, you gotta be a Catholic, and so he converted. And that is a fairly similar story right here. I think Maximilian may have to convert to Orthodoxy, which I would do in the game files, but I think this is our implicit promise right here. Yeah, you know what? We are working with the local landowners now. The Bavarians are slowly but surely losing interest and maybe influence. Oh, and there is egalitarianism. Now that is an interesting one, because if we indeed, let me just check, market liberal, royalist, abolitionist, nope, none of you are radicals. If we had a radical, we could actually get Springtime of the Peoples, but as of right now, that doesn't seem very likely. Now let me ask you, what are we going to go with? Organized sports would be amazing. I mean, nothing wrong with that, right? I do like central archives. I do love central banking. Man, there is so much good technology right here. We still... we, by the way, still don't actually have any universities. Don't worry about it. I don't think quinine is too relevant right now. The way the colonization system works is that until this is fully colonized, we are basically still keeping our colonial capacity right here in Greek Guinea, which is completely fine. It means that we are occupied with telling the British, hey, these are our colonies, please respect them. But that does mean that I don't really need quinine right now. I think, honestly, let's go with organized sport. Let's just kick off the Olympic Games to really create a union between us and the Greek nation. Oh my god, they actually did it. Springtime of the Peoples in Roman Republic. Lord Protector Marino Colletta. He is hated, first of all, but they have formed the Roman Republic. Man, this is so rare. Parliamentary Republic, autocracy. Yep, obviously this is a provisional government. They are led now by the Roman devout and by the landowners. Maybe they are trying to give back power, of course, to everything going on, you know, that belonged to the Pope. But my god, this is so rare. I'm really happy. What does it mean for Italy? I don't know. Let's see whether Italy can actually unify. It is a very difficult task for them, but we shall see. Alright, look, and I know that I'm basically at this point just praising my own AI work, but look at that. The British have taken a part here already. They've also, of course, taken Vietnam, but that is old news. And now Kutai is being attacked by the Netherlands to puppet them, and then they will transfer that puppet to the Dutch East Indies. The fact that they are doing all of that, I'm so happy to see them do that. Normally, they would basically just look at them and say, yep, you exist. Not gonna do anything about you. And you know what? I'm gonna do Karl Wilhelm von Heideck here a favor. I'm gonna go ahead and say, I'm gonna boost you, because I think the armed forces have really served the king right here. And frankly, the petite bourgeoisie didn't need to stick with us. They had no demands, they had nothing going for them, but they decided, I believe that the order under the king is best when it comes to preserving and restoring the Greek nation. I'm gonna shift my bowstring from the landowners and the Orthodox Church to these two. Maybe that can be an interesting influence going forward. Oh, and how nice. A statue of King Otto von Wittelsbach was commissioned, and it has been suggested that it be proudly displayed in Attica. I wonder who commissioned this. 2% of pops will become radicals. Man, we actually, I mean, look at this, okay? I really need you to take this in. Obviously, the South and the Ionian Islands in particular are upset with us, but man, the rest? Attica loves us. They really do. I think I want to say a monument worthy of a king. You know what? Sure, we are romantic. We want this to be a memory that remains even when we die. Definitely a big fan of that. Ooh, and France now puppeting Liberia. Man, honestly, I think this is a great investment. What we got going right here, we can use this in our own factories, this as well, of course. I don't think the millet farms are necessary, but hey, be that as it may, the banana plantations I still actually need to ship somewhere. Man, this is a terrible plantation. I'm going to exchange this. What really matters here, though, is this is a great investment. My god, this really has pushed us forward. Let's just hope that it keeps us alive, but man, yeah, there's a lot of action here in Western Africa right now. Okay, and apparently all hell has broken loose. What is happening here? Radical Austria has risen up. I assume that is because everybody here was very angry during the Springtime of the Peoples, which the Austrians now had. I can tell because of this turmoil right here in the Italian lands. And they're rising up trying to oust the old order. Now, let me take a look at this. This is for per capita taxation, apparently, but obviously there are more changes here as well. Cultural exclusion has been passed by Radical Austria. Maybe they will actually get this done. We shall see. Interesting. Very interesting. Land ownership ceilings as well. Oh, but that is actually a default law. Okay. But then what is all this about? So, we have the Austrian War. Oh my god. And then we have a war that includes the Roman Republic, the Germans, Sardinia-Piedmont, Morocco, who is allied to Sardinia-Piedmont, I saw this earlier. Two Sicilies is asking to unify Italy together with Great Britain. That is a big, big war. Obviously, we cannot... Oh my god! This is a massive war. I am glad that I'm not involved in this, but wow. The Italians are trying to get it done. Alright, let's take a look at this. The Roman Republic here is losing. Then we have the Germans destroying the British in Tuscany. Let me just get a quick reminder here. Which side are the Germans actually on? They are on the side of Sardinia-Piedmont, which means this is good for unifying Italy, this is bad for unifying Italy. This right here is good for unifying Italy, this right here is bad. This is a mixed bag. I've never seen some... This is blowing me away. I was honestly expecting a really boring Italy, because most of the time they don't do much, but wow. Italy is doing things. But you know, I gotta say, I wouldn't be too surprised if this ended in not a complete victory. I do think that the Roman Republic is essentially screwed. Umbria and Lazio is surely going to fall, because this is directly at the doorstep of southern Italy here, of two Sicilies, but can they actually take Piedmont? Before they want to... These are the important questions right here, right? We might see a partial unification that then needs a second sort of attempt, but yeah, wow. This is a massive, massive struggle. And in the meantime, it does seem as though the troops loyal to the Kaiser are holding. It seems as though Austria may yet hold. The question here is, I see that Croatia seems lost. We shall see what that actually means, whether that can capitulate the Kaiser's troops. Oh, and there it is. Sadly, our beautiful crown is gone. But landed voting has been introduced. We have granted a constitution so that the disaster that we faced just a few years ago may never be repeated. This is great. This is really good. I'll be honest with you, I think this is a good step just in general. I, think this is definitely sort of a new direction for King Otto, but also it's just more fun with elections because they then sort of redirect their attention to different issues, and I love to see that. Let's see how the very first election here in Greece shall go. Oh, wow. We have an alliance between the landowners, which are now Greek-motivated, and the Orthodox Church, which is very Greek-motivated, and then the armed forces. Interesting. Oh, and look at that. They broke through. Radical Austria under Kaiser Karl... Excuse me? Kaiser Karl Ludwig von Wittelsbach. What is going on? They are putting a relative of ours onto the Austrian throne, who stands for a more progressive Austria. He is a member of the petite bourgeoisie. Wow. That is fascinating. Dad, how's it going? How do you feel about any of this? This is, I mean, he's going with guaranteed liberties. Man, it seems like he's even less sure about the, reactionary path that we're taking than we are. In the meantime, it looks like two Sicilies might actually unify. Huge fan. This is massive. They're winning against them. They're going to capitulate soon enough, I'm sure. Yep, there goes their war support. Let's see where this goes. And there's Austria-Hungary. I actually cannot believe it. Kaiser Karl Ludwig von Wittelsbach. So basically, just if you are not playing this game, if you don't know how this works, the name of the ruler is entirely random. I have ranted so often about Joachim and Waldemar, which isn't even a name, by the way. It's Waldemar, but be that as it may, being the kings or emperors in Germany. This guy, Karl Ludwig von Wittelsbach, is the best sort of RNG'd character that I have seen in this entire game, in particular because, yep, we are a von Wittelsbach. Austria-Hungary is giving us, potentially, I think, a new impulse. Because, man, that's our dynasty. Those people are our friends, and they practice acceptance of their people in the empire. I am baffled by what has been going on here. Alright, so who won? The Russian party won. The Patriotic Party, of course, actually gained a formidable 41%. And that just means that we have this lone government right now. We technically, if I'm not mistaken here, I'm pretty sure we don't even know. We do know of the English party, which is so funny that we have to invent this. Oh, and we do know of the French party. They just didn't form. Very, very interesting. We are still going, of course, towards organized sports. We're doing quite well there. But we now have a government legitimized, at the very least partially, by the Greek people. Now, does this government want to do anything else? We could go back right here, but no, this is the concession to the Greek people. We will keep it the way it is. Now, this is interesting. Oh, this is very interesting. The armed forces, I want to reiterate this, right? I like shifting our laws, even if it's back and forward, because it's just a narrative device. I think we are going to switch towards dedicated police force. Dedicated police force is something the armed forces want, and they know how to keep this country safe, because they were the ones to keep it safe in the Civil War. Now, it should be noted that I changed this law in the mod. You can see the petite bourgeoisie actually gains political strength from it. So I think we're gonna be passing this. Let me just go right here. There it is. The landowners dislike it. That is okay. These folks here like it. This is our concession, our renewed promise to the nation of Greece that we stand as one. And I think it looks like Sardinia-Piedmont is going to fall. Yep. It's over for Sardinia-Piedmont. Italy will be unified. That is very impressive. I've never seen this. I'm really happy. I did change the AI strategy, but man, this is better than what I expected. Now, what are the US doing here? What are they demanding? Just Nevada. That makes sense. They're finishing that up. Very, very nice to see. The British are involved right here. Is there anything else interesting? Tanutua, of course, has fallen to Russia. Quite cute. Quite nice. Wallachia has unified. I would like to improve relations with you. And I may yet join your customs union. I may join the Wittelsbach customs union, quite frankly. And there you have it. 2 Sicilies has taken over Italy. Now, they haven't... Oh, there it is. Italy has been formed. And I'm so happy because they didn't form it via the vanilla exploit. No, no, no. They formed it through blood, sweat, and tears. Emperor, well, King Ferdinando di Bourbon del Due Sicily truly deserves this Italy. I'm so happy for him. I'm really excited for him there. And let me just check, by the way. Even if I get organized sports, it's not going to bring me up to major power. I need this to go away. This sucks. And you know what? This technology is huge, but I don't know how well we can actually utilize it, man. Obviously, I can implement it. What will it do for us? I mean, that is a great, great question. Even if we get supply of course, you know, the ammunition here into our country, can we maintain that supply? I think our best friend right now, I'll just be honest with you, I think it's Italy. I think it's Italy and Austria-Hungary. Oh, man. Austria-Hungary, huh? We already have, we're making our relationships, or we're improving our relations. You can see, by the way, Britain does not enjoy our company anymore. These are going to be stormy times, and I can even see us fall into vassalship here, because, my god, people really want a piece of us. Now, let me tell you one thing, by the way. If you were wondering, okay, sure, he's bolstering them, but how come that the petite bourgeoisie is as strong as they are? They are never this strong in my games. I can tell you exactly why. In the Victoria Tweaks mod, urban centers, believe it or not, are actually profitable. And then being profitable means that there's a whole bunch of shopkeepers actually earning cash. And earning cash means they actually have political power. The petite bourgeoisie was never meant to be as weak as it is in vanilla, and it's fixed in the mod. Get that mod if you want to play the game in the exact same environment. What's going on over here? France is going deep into West Africa for sure. Britain is... Ooh, what is this? Puppet Sikkim. So they're going for the miners right here. They're trying to clear that up. Nepal got wholesale annexed. Well, what can you do? But things are looking pretty okay if Britain leaves us alone, I think. Oh, and now the Netherlands are taking Bulungan. They're turning them into a dominion. Yep, the Netherlands and the Dutch East Indies are coming along quite nicely. There we have organized sports, and I think that is going to be a pretty decent ending. I'm honestly not sure on which technology we should go for here yet. We need to change our pace here, because right now it does not look as though we're going to be expanding anytime soon. I hate France so much. They're protective of me, and yet they're sabotaging me like this. What I'm interested in here, right, is this decision. Revive the Olympic Games. Revive the ancient Olympic Games for a new era. Greece has researched organized sports. We get permanently 100 prestige and minus 20% bureaucracy. Don't love that, but I will take that prestige 100% of the time, almost pushing us to being a major power. I think if we were a major power, we could get some alliances. We definitely want to look into that, and I think, hopefully, in the next episode, we're going to actually expand a bit. We have a very sorrowful king, Otto von Wittelsbach, but we also have a dynasty that is thriving. Kaiser Karl Ludwig von Wittelsbach now on the throne right here. This is an... Ooh, and look at that. How nice. Wow, they actually did that. This is an incredibly interesting situation, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later, alligator.